Right, actually, that... Can we move across a bit? That's a bit better. There we go, I'm in the middle now. It's just a case of... I'm a bit low down. There we go, that's about it. That's about it. There we go. Comments. Right, we need to pin those out. 1 second, back in a minute. Gotta close the door. Brilliant. So I am back. Never fear, I am here. This is going to be just a really quick one because actually I am trying out something. Got a new toy. You might be able to see it above my head. It is the follower counter. So I think it's pretty cool. But there you go. That's just me because I like that kind of stuff. But yeah, thought I'd go live for a little bit, test it out. Check it out, test it out, wiggle it all about, as Greg Wallace would say. But there you go. So yeah, the counter, where is it? Up there. So if you follow, you should see that tick over live. Let me get more in the middle. There we go. You should see that tick over live if you decide to follow. If you don't, but feel free to ask a question because that'll be cool. But anyway, oh, something's happening. I can hear it making noise. Thank you for that follow, whoever that was, and hopefully you saw it jiggle about. So yeah, that's cool. Anyway, that's the new toy. So that's going to be in the background of lives. So yeah, hopefully I can help you out, and in following me, I'll be able to hear it clicking over, and you'll be able to hear it changing. 25,795 salary. How much mortgage can you get, please? I don't know any of your other details, I'm afraid. So on that perspective, I can't help you out. Generally, the rule is 4.5 times, but again, it depends on your circumstances and your situation as to how much you're actually going to be able to afford. Because not only have you got to take into account your income, we have to take into account any outgoings, any committed expenditure, any dependents, what sort of buyer you are, so all that kind of stuff. So not easy to give an accurate figure. Obviously, if you're a client, then we go through that process and we do the affordability and check things out. Is Virgin a special lender? No, not necessarily. No. We have some exclusive rates with Virgin at the moment, actually. So, yeah, and Virgin have just been taken over by Nationwide. So, yeah, all good. But no, they're not a specialist lender. Abby, good evening. Abby is someone I've been in contact with today. Oh, what's happening? The thing's ticking away. Is someone... Oh, I've lost a follower. Oh, that's a shame. The thing is, I'm now obsessed with that ticking away. So, yeah, so you'll be able to see the live follower count when it ticks over. And, yeah, anyway, it's my new toy. Oh, what's happening? What's happening? I gained a follower. Wow, isn't this fun? This is exciting stuff. Oh, I think it is, but there you go. It's just my new toy. My new toy that I need to resize that as well because that's right in the way. That's going to annoy me. Is that big enough? Can you read that? You're all testing it out now. It's been a good day for us with Mello today. Well, don't be afraid to tell people, Abby. That's what it's all about. So Abby got her mortgage offer today, which was good news. That went through quite quickly, I think. That was in less than a week, would you say? I think it was less than a week. But yeah, glad we can obviously assist you and help you out. Thank you for the follows. Yeah, it's quite... That thing's quite cool, I think. But there we go. I was so surprised how fast it came back. Well, that's what happens. You see, what we do is we match you with a lender that suits your circumstances, suits your needs, and therefore we put it in. I made an application for shared ownership and failed because I was £77 out of the what? There's a word missing there. Are rates dropping? No. Is January/New Year a good time to buy? I don't think there generally is. Well, it comes down to you personally as to when's a good time to buy. You shouldn't be impacted on things or decide on the month or anything like that. It's when you're ready to buy. That's the right time to buy. Thoughts on fleet mortgages? Again, they are a UK lender, so they are regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority. So they adhere to all the rules and regulations, so they're fine. My partner and I on 48k together, but I'm on an IVA. Is there any chance of getting a mortgage? No, not while you've got an IVA, unless you've got a 30% deposit. While you've got an IVA in place, no. Do banks often undervalue new builds? Yeah. Mainly because developers are chancing their arm and trying to get as much money they can for the property. So ours was downvalued when we bought ours. It's not a problem. The lender kind of expect it anyway because they know they're chancing they're pushing their luck. So it's not a problem. They just reduce the price. My completion date is tomorrow. Ooh, fingers crossed that goes fine. Combined income around 80k, but only deposit around 10. Can we still get a mortgage? Well, I mean, that deposit is potentially a 5% deposit will get you a 200k house. Generally that deposit is going to be what's holding you back. What happens if you change job roles during the waiting process? What's the waiting process? If my partner is a first-time buyer and I'm not, can we get free stamp duty if we do mortgage together? No, you'll lose any benefits of being a first-time buyer if you buy with someone who's not a first-time buyer. Did I hear my little person coming home? I'm not sure. What's the standard practice of a first mortgage payment? Is it usually on the first of next month? It's usually on the date that you specified for your direct debit, but the lender will write to you to confirm how much it will be and when they're going to take it. Currently, 25, single man. Not sure what single man's got to do with it. Buying one bed property, freehold for 180, 590 deposit. Should I have wait? Wait for what? What were you going to be waiting for? When will the lender write to you about your first mortgage payments? Prior to them being taken. So after completion, but prior to the payments being taken. Is it better to buy a buy-to-let in my name or limited company? It depends on what your overall strategy is and a number of other things such as your tax status, whether you're a higher rate or basic rate taxpayer. Are you going to buy more? Are you going to develop a property portfolio? Have a discussion with an accountant or a tax advisor because they will be able to tell you the benefits with regards to tax and the complexities and things. So it really comes down to that. Waiting for mortgage company to confirm they will release funds for exchange. Can they change their minds? Potentially, because what they might do is another credit search. And if you've gone out and taken loads of things on finance, car, furniture, whatever, you've maxed out the credit card, then the application is actually going to be quite different to when it was submitted. So they can either change their mind on the affordability or rescind the offer. So that's worst case, though. If you've done nothing, then it should be absolutely fine. If they do a search, I would be notified. Not necessarily, no. Ooh, so I've just had a valuation appointment booked. Good stuff. Any hope with temporary job? I've been there 1.5 years, but had loads of absences due to sickness and got SSP. That's going to limit your affordability then. There are a few checks on my file, but nothing I've taken out. That should be fine. As long as they're sort of soft checks, you'll be all right. Can I buy a house with an interest-free mortgage? Are you talking about Islamic mortgage? You can do. Can you please explain when the value is lower than the end price, i.e. selling for more than worth? What? Don't understand. Any movement on rates recently? Only up. I'm afraid. Only increases. Having said that, though, oddly, HSBC came out today and said they're reducing some rates. Everyone else is putting them up. Is 10k saving enough for first-time buyers, only 55k combined, or should we be carrying on saving? It's not the amount, it's what that works out to be as a percentage. If that is 5% of the purchase price you want to buy, then it could be enough. Or if it's 10% of the purchase price you want to buy, then it is enough. Is buy-to-let still a beneficial investment? I don't know. I just do mortgages. We're looking for a mortgage broker. What fees would we be looking at? I can only speak for ourselves, and we charge 349. But in the new year, that's going up to 399 because all our costs have gone up, I'm afraid. Can I refinance my house? I'm not a UK resident. How did you buy the house in the first place? That would be my first question on that. And then we would look to go down that route. Sorry, if a house sells for 180 but valued at 170 after, I can only get a mortgage for 170. Correct. Well, no, you can only get a mortgage for the loan to value you're applying for. Because if it's valued at 170, 100% mortgage would be paying out 170. So if you're putting in a 10% deposit, then it will value up to that. Shall I drop an email to the one in the box at the top? Yes, you can. That's good. That's the best way. Or if you want to just book in a call directly, then if you go to the my TikTok bio, then there's a thing that says book a call and more. If you click that, it opens up, and the top option is just to book a call. That opens up the diaries, and you can book a call straight into there based on your availability. No, this isn't your expertise, but what can I expect to pay for solicitors? I've been quoted 1960. Sounds about right. 1960. Yeah, I ran a quote for a client today, and it was actually 19 something. So yeah, that's about right. How does one commit mortgage fraud? Idiot. Why get a mortgage though? Oh, here we go. We got all the trolls coming in now. Should we fix for 2 years or longer? Dips, that's really down to your individual circumstances. Your mortgage broker should be asking questions and helping you decide or advising on what is the best course of action for you. So yeah, go get your advice from your broker. What's the best way to take some equity out of the house? So if you're in a fixed term deal, then it will be additional lending, additional borrowing. You have to be able to afford it, and you have to have the equity there. How do you find out how much equity you have in your house if you're on shared ownership? So you get it valued. You then work out how much is your share and then how much outstanding mortgage you've got. And then it's the difference between that. Is it easy to port a fixed mortgage? No, I wouldn't say it's easy because it does involve an application. It does involve assessments. But the concept is easy. It's picking up the mortgage from one property and moving it to another. But it does involve applications. I have a 2-year fixed term. Will it go up most likely? Can we guesstimate how much by? Rosie, I don't know because I don't know what your rate is now. Don't know what your circumstances are. Don't know what your loan to value is. All that kind of stuff. So it's just impossible to say. Can you get a mortgage if you have 5k debt but we have 10k? Yes, Sam. So that 5k debt, all it does is affect your what's called your affordability. So how much you can borrow. Because that debt is classed as what we call a committed expenditure. So you have to pay money back to that each month, meaning that money is not available to repay a mortgage. Can DRO people get a mortgage? Nope. My fix just ended. So what's the best way to take some equity out? You apply for a higher remortgage. If your fixed rate has just ended as well, you are on the standard variable rate. It's going to cost you a lot of money. Well, usually after your fixed term amount, I'd assume the rate would increase. No, why would you assume that? If you did nothing with it and left it, then yeah, it will increase. You're going to lend a standard variable rate, but that's really irresponsible. You should look for a better deal. You should remortgage or move to a different product. So who knows? What's your opinion on halal finance? We don't do it. I bought a house for cash. I'm not a UK resident. Can I refinance it? It depends on your visa status, your settled status, all that kind of stuff. Is it worth doing early repayment? Probably not, because you're going to have to pay out a lot of money. And you're not going to get a lower rate, which is going to make it worthwhile paying out that early repayment charges. I doubt. I can't guarantee, but I doubt it would be worth it. Most mortgages you ever done in a month, it looks tiring. It is tiring. My partner is recently pregnant. Will that affect chances of lender? It depends what the situation is. Does your partner work? Does your partner plan to go back to work? You're going to have childcare costs probably. So it all depends on that kind of stuff. Can I get a mortgage and pay it off later? No, it's not like buy now, pay later. When your purchase completes, you start paying the mortgage. My daughter lives in the house, but it's a buy-to-let. Is there any way I can move to another lender? That's skirting a bit of fraud there, I think. Oh, thanks, Abby. Is that replying to Michael, or was there? Just booked a call, look forward to explaining our situation. Where's it? Excellent, nice one. Thanks, Michael. What age would you recommend is the best to move out? That's totally down to your situation. There's no perfect age, is there? Can I get some more of this with finance? I have a loan, student finance. Could you get some more of what? Fixed for 2 or 5 years? I can't tell you. I don't know any of your circumstances. Is it true about the housing crash? Absolutely not. Maximum age for a 35-year term? It depends how long you've got viable income going on for. It's all about income. Can I get a mortgage with student loans? I have student loan. Yes, potentially. Can I get a mortgage and pay it off a year later? If you want to, yeah. What was your view on part buy, part rent first time buyer? So you're talking shared ownership. If that's your only option, then that's your only option. It's if you can buy traditionally, then I would say that's probably your first port of call. But if shared ownership, you could live in an area where house prices are just insane. So shared ownership is your option. You just got to look into it, a lot of detail. I have done a video relatively recently on my short thoughts on shared ownership. So have a look at the profile and look down the list. It says, I think it's shared ownership thoughts or thoughts on shared ownership, something like that. Heard self-employed mortgage advisor making 20k a month. Okay, fine. I've about 150,000 equity in my house. Can I use it to buy another house? Yeah, depends what we're talking there, though. Are you thinking about buying an additional property, so having 2 residentials? Is it going to be a buy-to-let, or are you selling one and buying the other? But yeah, in theory, yes, you can. Is it hard to get a mortgage with a house with an annex? Possibly. Although not really. There's lenders that will do it. Do you have a favourite company bank to apply for mortgages with? Well, from my perspective, it's to do with how easy it is to use their systems. Some have absolutely shocking systems that I just think if they come up best on the sourcing and, it's the best option for the client, that's fine. We'll put it to them. I was thinking, oh no, we're going to have to go through them. And there are lenders that are just a breeze to deal with and go through. So yeah, there are some good ones, but yeah. It doesn't detract from us recommending their products because we deal with it. How long does a mortgage offer last? Generally about 6 months. Barclays systems are horrendous. They're not the worst. They are not the worst though. I have an application in. How long might it take to hear back? You're best asking your mortgage broker because it depends on the complexity of your application. Is it better to overpay a lump sum or at the end of the term? If your product allows overpayments, I would say it's best to do it more regularly because mortgage interest tends to be calculated on a daily basis. So therefore, if you make an overpayment today, the balance on which interest will be charged tomorrow is going to be lower. So you'll be charged less interest. So is it true you make 20k plus, you deserve it? Sorry, can you not live in a buy-to-let property? No, you can't. Do high street banks give mortgage for properties with annex? I would have to look through the criteria. I wouldn't have thought they'd be too keen. But again, it just depends matching up criteria. Would you pay more stamp duty on a third property than your second? No. No, it's going to be... If we're talking, say you own a residential and 2 buy-to-lets, it's always going to be standard stamp duty plus the 5% surcharge. What's your opinion on Nationwide? Fine. So the longest mortgage a 42-year-old would likely get as a first-time buyer. Again, it depends how long you've got viable income for. But there are lenders who will lend up to the age of 75 by taking employed income. So if you say you're going to work up to the age of 75, then they'll take the employed income. How long on average does a mortgage application take? I know it'll be very based on circumstance. So if we're talking from the actual application going in to an offer being issued, that could be a couple of weeks. But the work prior to that is largely dependent on speed of response, such as speed of you getting your documents back to us, putting details in the system, that kind of stuff. But it can be done that can all be done in a week, and then the application can go in. What percentage of your income should your monthly mortgage payment be? There isn't a rule. Can you borrow more than you need for home extension when remortgaging after 2 years fix up? Potentially, yes. Option on Newcastle. I'm not going to sit here and belittle any lenders. I have to work with them all. They are all fine. The only opinion I can give is they are all regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority, so they're all fine. Self-employed mortgage advisors like you are overpaid. Okay, well, feel free to scroll on. How do you know how much I'm paid? Troll. Is stamp duty going up? Stamp duty is not going up, but the threshold at which you start paying stamp duty is going down. How long into mortgage can I sell? Whenever you want. But there may be an early repayment charge you have to pay. Can you get a mortgage on 0-hour contract? As long as you got 12 months worth of pay slips to prove your income. Laws 25, that's great to hear. You are very welcome. We specialise in working with first-time buyers. So feel free to download the first-time buyers guide from the website up there, or you can get it from the link in the TikTok bio. Did you get your car on a mortgage? No. Why would you get a car on a mortgage? That's the most crazy thing you can do. Can you get a mortgage being self-employed? Yes, you can. You just need at least 1 year's accounts and tax returns filed so we can prove your income. Bought a house for cash. Can I refinance? I'm a 10-year visa. Probably not then. Oh, well, look, thank you. I'm just waiting for my entry date. So excited. Good stuff. Good stuff. Is 5% deposit enough? Yes, can be. As long as you've got a good credit file, 5% deposit should be enough. Is the 5k deposit viable option for first-time buyers? Okay, so yes, it is, but getting accepted onto that product is near impossible. I spoke to my colleague Joe earlier today because he put one in. The guy had an absolutely crystal clear credit file, credit history, but declined on credit score. So they've just got insane levels of their internal credit scoring to get accepted onto that. So yeah, unfortunately, it is viable if they would accept people onto it. Do first-time buyers get a discount? No. Good ways to build credit score. Don't be obsessed with credit score. When it comes to getting a mortgage, we look at your whole credit history for 6 years. So I had an applicant send in their credit file today, credit score of 890 plus, yet there was a arrangement to pay on there. There was a payday loan on there. I think there was a default on there. So a credit score is very misleading. Is it harder to get a mortgage after the mortgage in principle? Well, it's a standard process. It's just that at full application, it goes into full underwriting. So yeah, that's where it gets properly looked at. Oh, can I buy a house with a small company that makes 30k a year? Only if you're looking to do it on a buy-to-let basis. We've got a couple of tossers that need blocking here, so bear with me. Bear with me. A couple of trolls just need dealing with. People have not got anything better to do with their lives. Tragic. Very tragic. Very tragic. How many months bank statements do you need? Generally 3 months. If you're a remote worker, does distance from workplace impact areas you can search for? It would flag up on an application. They'll say, well, how are you going to get to work? But we would just explain it. So it's not a problem. Can they use current tax year for self-employed too? My wife turnover doubled this year. So we can use lenders that will go off the latest year's tax figures, the latest set of results. Normally they would average them, but there are lenders that will do it off the latest years if you're coming off the back of a particularly good year. If I have a mortgage offer, how will the bank know if I quit my job before the sale completes? Well, that's mortgage fraud because it's a material change. And putting that in a public forum is probably one of the most stupid things you could do. If I was to buy to let, does your income affect mortgage? Can do. Are you able to explain the £500 cash back from Nationwide? They give you £500 after the mortgage completes. It's really as simple as that. That might get paid to the solicitor, so they might just take it off their bill, or it might get paid into your account a month after it completes. What percentage do you need as a first-time buyer to likely get accepted? We're talking about deposit, so you can do it from 5%, but 10% will be better because it gives you more choice of lenders. If a default was removed 3 years ago, would it still affect the application? If it came off your credit file 3 years ago, that's not on your credit file, so no. Can you get a mortgage with a personal loan on file? Yes, you can. Does Nationwide have the best perks? Perks aren't important. Most lenders give cash back, though. When my 5-year fixed rate is up at the start of next year, do I need to go through an application again? If you're going to do a remortgage, yes. How many months pay slips do you need? 3. But if you're not in your job long enough, that's not a problem. Oh, I think... What the fuck? Are you aware of any new government schemes coming to... No new schemes. I think I have to go because I think the little people are back. 1 second. Let me just check the cameras. 1 second. No. Thank you for the follows. Why is my... Oh, I was going to say, why is my thing not ticking over? But it is now. Is the process the same for people mortgaging a property to solely rent out to people? No, it's not, because it's a different way that things are worked out, the affordability and all that kind of stuff. Does childcare affect your mortgage amount even if it's going to change in the future? Yeah, because it'll be a committed... If it's not going to be there on completion of the mortgage, then it can be ignored. But if it's going to carry over once the mortgage is completed, then it will affect things. Remortgaging this summer, wanting to drop 25 years to 15, 50k left, is that doable? If it's affordable, if you can afford the repayments to do that, then yeah, absolutely. I'm currently getting a mortgage with NatWest. I haven't heard of this cashback because it won't necessarily... Each product is different. They don't all do it on every single product. Can I check my credit worthiness in advance? You can. So if you go to my TikTok profile, there's a link that says book a call and more. Open up that and you can get a free check my file report, which shows you your whole credit history from Experian, Equifax and TransUnion. So it's the most comprehensive view you can get. On there, it will show up any issues. And then you just speak to a mortgage broker and say, look, I've got a default or I've got a CCJ or whatever. I'm selling and Help to Buy won't reply to my comms. Well, that's weird. They're normally quite responsive. Have you paid their admin fee? Might be that. After surveys, what's the next step and how? Your mortgage broker should be able to advise on that because they'll know more about where you are in the process. Income of 50k with down payment of 50k. Can I get a house 250? Should be able to. Can I trust ClearScore? No. We only accept Check My File because it's the most accurate. We don't accept credit files from anywhere else. Is it okay to get a mortgage and then change jobs a few months in or we'll still get funded? No, that's fine. That's fine. As long as you keep up the repayments. On your bank statement, what is it they look for? Is it outgoings versus... Not necessarily. I mean, because we're mainly looking for the committed expenditure. So big transactions that are going out, your direct debits, how much they total. Are they committed direct debits? So things you're contractually obliged to pay, or can they be ended? So it's also looking to make sure that your pay matches the bank statement. We're looking for financial crime, money laundering, fraud, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, lots of things. What's the average mortgage rate for first-time buyer? There's no such thing as an average mortgage rate because everyone's situation is different. So it's how they, the product they get. How many pay slips do you need to get a mortgage? It varies. So generally we ask for 3, but if you haven't got 3, that's not an issue because there are lenders that will go off a signed employment contract or 1 year's. I wish this live stream were on your website. Why? What difference would it make? Because you're watching it on TikTok. It's on YouTube. It goes on YouTube and TikTok at the same time. What difference would it make if it was on my website? My website's shocking at the moment. It's being rebuilt anyway. Love your car is your ID3 on mortgage. How do you know I've got an ID3? Can you get a mortgage being on universal credit? Yes, but they won't take the housing element into account. Do you recommend fixing 2 years or longer? It would totally depend on your individual circumstances, and I can only recommend that if I know your situation. Your website is where everyone goes to do business. It's not actually. Most people come to us through TikTok. Our website is shocking. It's been redone. Hopefully in a week or two, the new one will be up. Can you help with selling part ownership? No. What is the rough percentage of 5-year fixes? Again, it depends entirely on your situation. Does benefit PIP take into account for affordability? Can do. Remember, it won't go down easy if it ain't cheap. Whatever. Do self-employed people have to provide 2 years pay slips? No, they have to provide at least a year's worth of accounts. Ideally 2 or more. What's the difference between a broker and a mortgage advisor? Absolutely nothing. It's just different terminology. I prefer the term advisor because it actually gives more of a helpful feeling. But I found that people didn't understand that I do it all. So they thought I'd just advise on mortgages and say, yeah, you can do this, you can do that, and not actually facilitate doing the mortgages for them. So that's where we adopted the mortgage broker, so that people got an idea of, where it's from. Impartial. We are, because we are independent mortgage brokers. How do mortgages view student loans? It just comes off your payslip. So if you're paying it, it'll be coming off your payslip, and it'll just affect your net take-home figure. It might affect affordability a little bit, but if you're not paying it back and it's not evident on your payslips, then it won't be taken into account. Have you heard of a call mortgage? Of course I have. They offer a £5,000 deposit. You won't get accepted onto that. No one ever gets accepted onto that product. How does sales commission affect what you get? Sales commission can be taken into account for income. We just need to find a lender that's going to maximize the use of it. So some might take 50% of it into account. Others will take 50%. So we just need to find a lender that will max out the affordability for it. 55-year-old right to buy local authority doable? If you've got income, then I'd have thought so, yes. Can a 50-plus person university credit apply for a mortgage along with someone on 23 salary? Yes. Can you change jobs during application? You can do, but I'd really advise not doing it. There are some lonely trolls out tonight, aren't there? Are 5% mortgages accepted anywhere? No. Not every lender does 5% deposit mortgages. There is a... I wouldn't say, it's restricted lender choice. 10% deposits will get you a greater choice of lenders. You still have to provide documentations after mortgage has been approved. No, you shouldn't do. Maybe to the solicitor. What happens if you want out to rent out rooms? Then you might be looking at a buy-to-let mortgage, and you might be invalidating the terms of your mortgage. If I was in a position to overpay my mortgage, would you? I would. Yeah. Does 6 years in current job show lender stability? They won't. Well, it's a benefit, but it won't really affect things too much. Rough interest rates, 5% deposit. I can't tell you because there's so many varying ones. Is it a legal requirement to have life insurance before you get a mortgage? No, absolutely not. The only compulsory insurance you have to have is buildings insurance. It's very wise to have other insurances such as life insurance, income protection, critical illness, all that kind of stuff. But buildings insurance is the only compulsory one. Do I need to get a mortgage at the bank that my salary is paid into? Absolutely not. Nope. Do you advise taking a new job with a higher salary before moving in when you have a mortgage offer? No. Because your lender might not be happy with you being in a new job. They might not be happy with you being in a probation period. They might not be happy with you only being in the job a month or so. So it might totally need a new application. So just don't do it. Is it better to buy a property that's ready to move in or a property that you can renovate? It's up to you what you want to do. Is a 40-year mortgage a bad idea? Not necessarily. The benefit of a 40-year mortgage will be that your monthly repayments will be less. The negatives would come if you actually let it run for 40 years, because you'd pay a lot of interest. So when we're talking to our clients, we discuss that strategy to maybe spread it out for as long as possible, to have minimum repayments, to then do overpayments, to then bring down the capital balance of the loan, bring down the amount of interest, and then at remortgage time, bring the 40 years down to 35, 30, whatever. Just means in the initial days, particularly first-time buyers, money might be tight. So yeah, it might be advisable to do that. But it's something we discuss. Depends on what your strategy is. Can I get a sole mortgage if I am married and only 3 months in my employment is permanent? I'd have thought so, yeah. Don't forget to hit the follow button and watch what happens to this. This arrived today, so I'm very excited about that. Look, there you go. Look at that. Awesome. Higher interest rate, but repayments per month lower versus lower interest rate and pay lump sum at the end. It depends on your individual situation. What's the new stamp duty rule? It's not a rule. I mean, same rules exist. It's just the threshold at which you start paying stamp duty is lowering. So if you're a first-time buyer, currently you can buy up to 425,000 and not pay stamp duty. That is reducing to 300,000. If you're a home mover, it's currently 250,000. It's reducing to 125,000 on the 1st of April 2025. What on my bank statement will prevent me getting a mortgage accepted? Lots of things. Do you think rates will go up or down next year? Really can't say. It's such a fluid market. It's really difficult to say. Did you had someone with CCJ recent? Was their interest rate? Doesn't matter what their rate was because rates are individual. How do mortgage brokers who do it for free make money? Churn cases, massive caseload. Get it through, get it done quick. Just get it done quick. Perhaps don't spend the time it needs. So yeah, they rely on absolute churn. They rely on hard sales of things like life insurance. They'll put the pressure on you using their own solicitors, taking all the insurances. That's how they make their money. Our first time buyers that don't own a home or historical not owned a home. They're first time buyers that have never owned property. Explain churn. Yeah, it's just churn. Loads through. Loads and loads and loads. Churning them through. Can self-employed get 5% deposit mortgages? Yes, you can. I was shocked your fee was 349. Yeah, 349. It's going up to 399 in the new year though. I don't want to do it, but I'm afraid I just can't take the hit any longer. So yeah. Why does my bank balance matter? It doesn't. Mortgage advisor charging the fee. What does that mean? Does it make sense to buy first property if I plan on selling within 3 years? Totally up to you. Totally up to you what you want to do. I'm 6 months from needing to remortgage my variable rate. Can I get out of it early? Depends on the terms of your mortgage, whether you can get out of it now without any early repayment charges. Get in touch and I'll have a look at it for you and advise what you can do. If I've bought property before, but my husband hasn't, does that mean he's considered the same as me? Yeah, if you're buying together, yeah. Are you mortgage advisor for the whole UK? Yes, I am. I think someone just knocked on my door. One sec. Just check the cameras. Oh, I think the Bambinos are back. Yes, they are. I'm going to have to wrap this up. Sorry. So hit the follow button if you want so that you can be in touch. Do feel free to get in touch with us. Send us an email or give us a call tomorrow. Or just use the link in the TikTok bio to book in a call. Absolutely. Just go into there. It says book a call and more. Do that and you can book straight into our diaries and we will ring you to discuss things for you and discuss all your needs. But yeah, thanks for your questions. Thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening and hopefully speak to you soon.